Hi, so my name is Roz, and a couple of my friends asked me to show them how I inject my estrogen. So here we have all of the things that we're gonna need today. We have two alcohol swabs that we're so that we can sterilize both the actual vial of estradiol and the skin that I will be injecting into. We have the 18 gauge needle that we use to draw up. We have the syringe that we're going to be using. And we have these needles, which are the two that I have available for injecting actually into my skin, and the adhesive bandage for the end. Essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to open up one of these, swab this. While that dries, we're going to open this up, attach these, draw up using this pink needle to draw up the liquid into here. Discard this pink needle and use one of these skin needles, inject, and go. That is the basic way that this goes. You may be asking, hey Roz, why do you have two different needles? You may see that they are slightly different sizes. This one over here is a 23 gauge. This is what the doctors will most likely give you. This is what they gave me at first. A lot of depot estradiol, the label says to go by intramuscular, but a lot of research is showing that subcutaneous is actually, I don't know if better, but there are benefits to it, and so my doctor is having me do subcutaneous instead of intramuscular. So with that in mind, rather than using the 23 gauge, which is rather bigger, I was able to get them to give me 25 gauges, which are much smaller. So I barely even feel these things going in. So with that, that's the explanation. I'm going to go ahead and cut here, and then I will walk you through it. Okay, so here we have, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to just real nicely swab the top of this with alcohol. Make sure that there's nothing chilling out there ready to get under my skin. Pop these open. Okay, so you want to make sure that this thing is nice and loose. So I'm going to be injecting about 6 milliliters. So for part of that, we're going to make sure that I will have to draw more than 6 milliliters so that we can actually get to that amount because there is going to be air in this and we'll have to push that out. So I'm going to draw this back to about the 8 millimeter mark. I'm going to stick this in, turn it upside down, inject all that air back into the vial. I'm going to pull back, get it nice near the edge, and start slowly pulling back and letting that fill. Let's see, is that... There we go. So we got that nice and... So we got that about 8 milliliters. Now, I always overdraw my estrogen a little bit just because it is... Like, I always end up throwing some away at the end of the month, so I'm gonna, make sure that I get the full dose whenever I go, right? So we have a little tiny bit of a bubble. Let's see if I can get that in here. So you have a little tiny bit of a bubble up here at the top. So here is where we are going to pop open the needle that we use for the injection. Here I have the 25 gauge. And we are going to do that thing where we get all of the air out of the needle. Is there a little bit? No, it's just the. Is that air? No, that's the ring light. Okay, good. So then, like I said, I overdraw a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and squeeze this down. Okay, so back into this. For me, I am going with a subcutaneous injection into the subcutaneous fat in my belly here. You can see I have a lot of fat. It's a nice place to inject. A lot of doctors will also have you go intramuscularly into the side of the thigh or into the gluteus maximus. But like I said, I go subcutaneous. I injected over here last time. So this week I'm going to inject on this side. Just going to go ahead and make this, get this all nice and sterilized. Take this needle and get the plate where, so you'll be able to see that it has kind of like a bevel, and you want to have the sharp part on the bottom closest to the skin. You're going to want to find a good place that you have a lot of fat. Kind of pinch it up a little bit to get the fat pulled away from the muscle wall. Again, go kind of at an angle. In we go. Now, the big thing to note is that I'm going at an angle, so we're not going directly in. I am injecting into the fat, and I went in at the angle of with the bevel down. Oof, that is a bit of a painful injection today. I don't know what's up with that. I'll have to finish that, grab another needle and finish that injection. I don't know. Well, that was not a great injection. It's okay. It's okay to do that. I will change out the needle though, because after you use a needle once, especially these fine ones, you will find that the needle itself bends in small ways that you can't quite see, but they are there, and they will be they will make it more difficult to finish the injection later. This is what I get for trying to record myself doing this when I'm still a little bit new at doing it myself, so hubris. Now, one thing to note about the smaller needles is that they will be a little bit, they will have more resistance to being plunged in, but that's just physics, right? Trying to push pressurized fluid through a smaller tube is going to be harder than a bigger tube. So you'll just need to inject slowly and steadily, and make sure that you get it all in. Obviously, injecting twice is not ideal, but that's really okay. It's not the end of the world. If you mess up an injection, you're not gonna die. You're not gonna lose your boobs or anything like that. You just, you might have a bit of a weird week emotionally or something like that. But overall, you'll be fine. It's going to be okay. It's not the end of the world. There's always next week. So, thank you for joining in, and I hope that this was helpful and educational and not too weird and all over the place. Thanks. Bye.